a project showcase session where our students are going to share some of their recordings, some of their projects that they've worked on during the course of the program. So I hope you guys are happy to be here. I hope you guys are excited to be here. This is a time where you send the link to this particular meeting to everyone that I know will be interested in the content of the meeting. Everybody I know that is interested in tech or is still having a double mind about it, who are not too sure if tech is the right path for them to follow. This is the best time to start calling them, send the link to them, send the messages to them on WhatsApp, send to them on everywhere on Facebook. We want to see all your friends here. Yeah. So if you're excited to be here, I want to see your comments in the chat. So let's just dive this a project showcase session where we're talking about the training. We have the project that most of our students, some of our students have worked on. So we are going to be having a few guests. So we're going to be having a few guests here with us today. We are going to be having Jerry. We are going to be having Stella. We are going to be having Bernard. We are going to be having Tosin with us. So they are going to share with us the different projects that they have worked on during their stay in 10 Analytics. So let's dive right in. So what is 10 Analytics about? So 10 Analytics is a leading edtech company focused on training in technological skills and delivering comprehensive data consulting services. So we have over 4 years of experience building talents in technology workforce. So we have helped 2,855 more than 2,855 Black people transition into tech across different companies. So across different countries. So how it came to be was that we noticed that in the world tech system, in the world tech ecosystem, there's a little bit of, let's say, misrepresentation gap. So we noticed a few if there was not as much Black people getting into tech than we see from other demography. So that brought about the existence of 10 Analytics by our founder here, this very handsome face you are seeing right here, by the name of Adeza Suleiman. So we are committed into making technological sector more accessible through our training in data analytics, data science, business analysis, data engineering, financial engineering. We are also into HR analytics, cyber security, agile project management, AI engineering. So we try to follow you through all the way from a beginner level, one time from a novice to landing your first job. We hold your hands through the whole process from being a novice to landing your first role as a tech professional. So we have experienced and let's say seasoned professionals that will be taking you through this journey. So we have instructors that come from Apple, that come from Microsoft, that come from McKinsey, that come from Amazon, and they bring their experience to help you transition from whatever background you may have, whether you have a tech background or you're not someone that have a tech background. We help you through this transition process. So you can connect to us across our various social media platforms. You can get to our website at 10analytics.io. On Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, our account is 10analytics. So you might be seeing my face and be wondering who is this person that I'll be introducing another person all this while. So my name is Ifeanyi Wobodu. I'm an educator and an instructor here at 10 Analytics. I'm also a senior data science associate. So if you are going to be registering for the data science program, or when you register for the data science program, you'll be meeting me because I try as much as possible to help you land your first role. So I turn you from a novice to a job-ready professional by giving you the support that you need to land your first role. So I have more than half a decade experience in data science and data analytics, and my experience spans from data science, machine learning, AI, data analysis, and market research. So my main goal is to transform you from, let's say, a newbie or whatever background you may have to get your first role. And I've successfully taught and mentored over 300 individuals. And my mission is to lead learners and beginner level to job readiness and helping them transition seamlessly into tech. So I'm not only here today, but you can connect with me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and so on. So along with me today is Elizabeth Nana. Can we give her a round of applause? So she's also a product manager and an agile product manager here at Analytics. So she has a decade of experience in product management, and project management entirely. So she's a skilled leader and a coach for the Agile team, and she has been able to consistently drive impactful results. So she has guided over 1,000 individuals with no Agile project experience at all into a smooth transition into project management. She has trained over 1,000 professional and experience spans from multiple sectors, including health tech, fintech, and tech. So remember, as I mentioned earlier, that it's only seasoned professionals that work here with us at Analytics and to become a tech professional. So let's dive right into why we are here today. So the main reason, so some of our students are going to share some projects they have worked on during their stay here at 10 Analytics. So we have a few students here with us today because here at 10 Analytics, we focus more on project-based learning. That is, we don't only teach you the knowledge, we give you real-world projects to work on, real-world case studies, spanning from different sectors where you can apply the skills that you have learned here into real-world scenario and make the best out of it. So with us here, we have Jerry. Jerry, if you are here, can you give a thumbs up? Can you signify?
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, Jerry. Good evening from here. How are you, Jerry?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. So, we just want to know a little bit about you before we get to the presentation. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Hi, everyone. So my name is Amadi Jerry Gotspa, and I'm part of Analytics, the data science cohort. So my background is in science. I'm actually a scientist. I studied microbiology for my undergrad. I had no, interest in tech, so I've been a science person all along. And then I got to know about analytics through YouTube. I think that was Nanelle's channel where she always, discusses about things in the UK. And initially, I was not even interested in joining analytics. I literally recommended it for someone else who wanted to get into tech. So I recommended it to him. I was like, okay, you know what? If you want to get into tech, try these people out. I've watched, a couple of things about them and they are very good. So he watched it and then he was kind of, lackluster about it. And I decided to watch a masterclass like this myself. And that was it. And when I watched it, I was like, okay, this is where I should be. So I joined the cohort immediately. The same day I watched the masterclass, that was the day I joined the cohort. And I joined data science cohort because obviously I have a science background and I was like, okay, data science would be actual ideal for me. And I would say that that's the best decision I've made this year because it's been very exciting in analytics. We work on projects every day, and then we have capstone projects where we have, groups where we brainstorm sometimes we stay up till 12 a.m. brainstorming on projects that we work on. Everyone is bringing their critical thinking, everyone is, criticizing, bringing different views to the same data set, which is what I find very amazing because you have the same data set and everyone is looking at it from a different perspective. We put all of that together and then we have a beautiful picture and then we have a beautiful insight. So that's it about analytics. It's been a very wonderful experience for me so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, for sharing your experience. And I like that you highlighted the fact that you work with people from different backgrounds. So our training sessions recognize that we have people from different backgrounds, and we try as much as possible to make sure that every single person is carried along. Yeah, so thank you for that, Jerry. Stella, are you here with us right now?
Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm good. Um, Nice to meet you once again, Stella. So can you on your camera? Can you turn on your camera so that we can see your face?
Sorry, I won't be able to turn my camera on at the moment. Is it okay if I speak without a camera?
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, no problem. Stella, yes. So you can go ahead to introduce yourself. Let's meet you, Stella, like we just met Jerry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good day, everyone. My name is Stella. As you've been told, I'm at the moment I'm training at analytics. I started in April. I'm on the HR cohort, and it's been an amazing journey. I have no experience in IT. I only have experience in HR and customer service, and there's a lot of help and support in the group. And we have been doing project showcases, real life experiences we are going to have. We have a lot of projects where everyone coming together as a group and having all ideas from different places, and it's a good learning path for everyone, and it's an amazing journey. I'm glad I'm here. The future is bright, and I'm so happy today to present my project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Stella. Nice to meet you once again.
Okay, you're welcome.
Um, yes. Bernard, can you hear us? Are you with us here, Bernard?
Yes, please, I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hi, Bernard. Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing very asking. So just like Jerry and Stella did, please introduce yourself so we
Okay,
know
so
who we're speaking.
Bernard. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Bernard Dankwa. I'm from Ghana. I'm a chartered accountant from Ghana, and then I'm currently a student with ACCA. I now live in the UK, and I joined analytics in the April cohort. Um, Yeah, and it's been a short, insightful, and thought-provoking 3 months, if I should say, but making the 3 month feel like 3 years, given the kind of knowledge that I've been able to acquire within this time space.
All right. I actually love the sound of that. I think our host, Ifeanyi, is back. Hi, Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi, your mic is
Hello.
muted.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about that. I was cut off for a while. I'm back. Bernard, nice to meet you. Can you give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Okay, so like I previously stated, I'm Bernard Tankwa. I'm from Ghana, and my background is in finance. Actually, a chartered accountant in Ghana, and currently a student with ACCA. I reside in the UK now, and I joined Analytics in the April cohort as I joined in the financial analytics cohort in April, and for the past 3 months, it's been nothing short of getting an insightful 3 months and then thought-provoking sessions that we've had, and currently enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to much more of this 3 months.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Bernard. Can you tell us what you enjoy the most about the program here at Analytics?
What I enjoy, I like learning by doing, and the classes and then the sessions we've been having, though you get the directions, but you are given the chance to do more of yourself, make the mistakes that you need to make, and then learn from it. And personally, this is how I learn. I like to make the mistakes and then learn from them. Once I do that, it sticks. And this is currently helping me personally.
Okay, thank you for that, Bernard. That was a very good answer. Yes, we allow us to get our hands dirty while we are learning so that we make the mistakes now and not make it later. And as he said, learning by doing. So the more you work on projects, the more you know where you're what are prone to error when you start working in real world scenarios, when you start working in whatever profession you find yourself or whatever field you find yourself. So the projects usually span across different industries. Some are individual, where you work on it on yourself, while some you learn to work with teams, because in any organization you find yourself, you might end up working with a team of people from diverse background. So you're now used to that diversity and used to that communication and teamwork skill. So thank you for that, Bernard. Tosin, are you with us here?
Yes, I am. Good evening,
Okay.
everyone.
Hello, Tosin. Good
Yeah.
evening.
Good to
So
see you
Tosin
all.
yes, same here. So we'd like to meet you, Tosin. Can you give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Oluwatosin, and I have a background in IT, but the thing is, I've been in the entrepreneurial space in IT. So what that has done for me in my career is accumulate bits and pieces of skill along the way. So for me, in relocating, it kind of dawned on me that I needed to develop depth in a particular field in IT. So I did a self-audit, and I thought that to myself that I would love to develop, professional depth instead of being stretched thin. So I had a bit of project management, a bit of programming, a bit of this and that all over. So I wanted to develop the depth and continue to major in something. So I chose business analysis, and that's what really led me to Analytics, because I believe that, I will be able to be more grounded in the things that I knew. So that's been my story. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Tosin. So yes, that's how our program works. Our programs are more of specialization. We don't just give you skills that are generally concerned with IT. We focus on some streamlined skills that will help you to climb the job ladder faster and easier. So thank you for that, Tosin. So what would you say you like the most about the program here at Analytics, Tosin?
I think I like the content, right? I would say I like the content. The content gives me structure that I need to understand exactly what exactly obtains in the real life scenario. So I am particular about the context. the content of what is being taught. So that's been the major benefit of me joining analytics.
Yeah, okay, that was another good answer from Tosin. Yes, we focus on, like, we give the most quality in all our contents. We put in our time and efforts to make sure that whatever we are presenting in class or whatever project you are going to work on is the best possible one you can work at that time. So we make sure that each of those projects and each of those materials are in line with, let's say, industry trends and whatever the market demand at that moment. Thank you for that again, Tosin. Stella, are you with us right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you can go ahead to speak. Can you introduce yourself to us?
Should I do the presentation? Oh, I just introduced myself not long ago. My name is Stella. At the moment, I'm studying at analytics as HR analyst, and I've been doing since April, in the April cohort, and I'm so excited I'm here to present my project. It's been a lovely journey. There's a team of helpers, tutors who are doing so well, helping us with the real life scenarios, which you can apply in the future when you are seeking jobs and in real life job applications. And also the good team of colleagues working together as a team and just making sure we bring all ideas together to sort out all the issues we have in our project. And it's a great journey, and I'm happy to be here today. And I don't have experience in IT at all. So for me, this is something I saw online with, as Jerry said, with Nanel, was presenting about analytics and about is helping people from diaspora and around the world to get into IT. So I went to it and watched the video, and I thought this is what I really want to do. And here I am now, and I'm on the project, and I'm really excited. Thank you.
Thank you again, Stella. So you gave us a more of a reintroduction. You went deeper this time. Okay, so today, I'm going to go through what we have for the day. So in this session, you are going to learn about the in-demand tech skills and which one suits you. We are also going to look at the project showcase from these 4 people that we introduced just now. You are going to see the project they have worked on, how they worked on it, the results they got from the project, and how it helped them improve their skill. So after learning that, you will learn about what is next after the program. After learning these tech skills, there's a goal there's a goal that you had in mind when you decided to learn these skills. So what is the next thing after that? And we'll talk more about the program in general and the upcoming cohorts. Okay, let me give you guys the opportunity to present. So let's start with Stella. Stella, are you ready to give us your presentation?
Ready? I would like to share my screen.
Okay, let me stop sharing mine and give you the floor.
Okay, thank you.
So please try to fill in the attendance form in the chat box while she's doing that, so that you can access the recording and the resources that were used in this session. So Stella, you can go ahead. Okay, we can see your screen.
Can see my screen? Thank you.
Yes.
Got that one. Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen now? My screen, yeah?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hello again. My name is Stella Okoth. I'm at the moment learning HR analytics at Analytics, and this is my project. you can see on the screen here is about Cafe Harmony. And so I need to reduce this. Is about Cafe Harmony. These are real life projects that I've worked in the last, one of the projects is, we have so many projects. So this one of them I've worked for the last few months. And the goal of these projects is utilizing data insight to guide Cafe Harmony to make informed decisions for future growth. So this is Cafe Harmony. It has problems with sales and stocking, and that's why we are using data to assist them to make decisions for future growth. So I'll go to the next screen. And the agenda of this project, it's a financial projection, revenue, expenses, and profitability, menu development, staff performance, stock management, market analysis to target different customers and competitors for the future expansion, and also to understand Cafe Harmony's performance and identifying areas of improvement. So we'll go to the next screen. So I'll introduce Cafe Harmony. What is Cafe Harmony? Welcome to Cafe Harmony, a new and exciting virtual cafe chain. The cafe specializes in offering a variety of drinks, snacks, and light meals to customers. Over the past year, Cafe Harmony has seen impressive growth, but now faces new challenges as the company is scaling to meet customers' demand. The cafe has multiple locations across the city, each with its own performance metrics and unique customer preferences. On the next screen is our dashboard, which I built for my project. You can see our Cafe Harmony sales data from 2024 to 2026. And the total revenue for Cafe Harmony is 12,590, and it has 10 products and 1,000 employees, 4 locations, a total customer of 1,003 and 3, and average rating is 3.05. And these are the 7 chart that I baked. The first chart is sales trend by month. The second one is customer rating. The third one is stock performance. The fourth one is revenue by product. And the fifth one is total sales by age category. And the sixth one is total sales by gender. And the last is the performance by location. And here we have the slices where we can click so that our data can take us where we want to go. For example, if you want to click adult, you click adult, and then it will take you to adult. So I'll go to the next screen. So this is the sales by month is the first screen for our chart. So the sales indicates that Cafe Harmony experienced growth over the years. Tracking the trends, it provides insight into the peak times and potential strategies for maximizing revenue. The data shows that there was high sales in April and November, December 2024, and January, March, August, and December 2025. And their lowest sales reported in January, February, September 2024, and February, June, and 2025. It also shows the prediction for the 2026. So we'll go to the next.
Hello, Stella.
Yeah.
You're doing well so far, but your
Thank you.
screen is blank right now.
Sorry?
Your screen is blank right now. We can't see what you're presenting.
Is it blank?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's still sharing.
So maybe you want to stop sharing and
should I stop sharing? Okay, let me stop sharing and then I'll log in again.
Yes.
Okay, let me go back again. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, you can see it now.
Okay, sorry for that. Stella. Okay, so should I go back where I was or this screen? Let me go back. Okay, so this is my dashboard for Cafe Harmony sales dashboard of 2024 to 2026. And here we have the total revenue for 12,590. We have 10 products, 1,000 employees, and we have 4 locations, and the total customer of 1,003, and the average rating is 3.05, and we have 7 charts representing the outcome, data outcome, and we have the sales trends by month. We have customer rating. The third one is stock performance. The fourth one is revenue by product. The fifth one is total sales by age group. The sixth one is total sales by gender. And the last one is a performance by revenue. And then have here the slices to show us where we can click where to go. If you want to go to female, press female, and it takes us to where the female, how the female customer actually performed. And then I'll go to the next screen. Is our first dashboard, first chart. This is sales trend by month. The sales indicates that Cafe Harmony experienced growth over the years. Tracking the trend provide insight into peak times and potential strategies for maximizing revenue. Data shows high sales in April, November, December 2024, and January, March, August, and December 2025. And our lowest sales reported in January, February, September 2024, and February and June 2025. Also, it shows a prediction for 2026. And then I'll go to the next chart. The next chart shows revenue by products. So we have here our products. We have the muffin, cappuccino, iced tea, latte, croissants, and sandwiches. Data shows indicates that muffins are the best-selling products, followed by cappuccino and iced tea. Each product generated over £2,000 in revenue. Sorry, I think I have to go back. It generated over, each product generated over 2,000 in revenue. And the latte, croissant, and sandwiches also doing well. So we go to the next chart. This is sales, total sales by gender. So we have the female and the male. This data shows most sales were generated by 54% of female customers than 46% of male customers. So female are doing well in terms of sales. And the next chart is total sales by gender group. So here we have 5 gender group, and we have the youth, the adult, old, elder, and seniors. This data indicates that Cafe Harmony has all these customer demographic by age group. So the most buyers being adult generating 22%. And then we have the youth generated 20%. The old generated 20%. The elder generated 20%. But the senior were the lowest, generated 18%. So the colors represent each age group. And also the age group were, the youth were 18 to 27 years, the adults were 28 to 37 years, the old were 38 to 47 years, the elder were 48 to 57 years, and the seniors were 58 to 67 years. So we'll go to the next chart. Here, the chart is stock performance. We have the ones in green are the ones who are overstock, and the ones in red representing the one which understock. So this data shows lack of proper stock management. They are overstocking and understocking in certain products. The highest overstocked item being sandwich bread, and the lowest overstocked item was milk. Juice concentrate remain neutral, which is here in 0. And on this chart, it shows the performance by location. So the blue one shows the average of sales achieved, and the red one shows the average of sales target. So here we have 4 branches of Cafe Harmony. We have the uptown, the airport, the suburbs, and the downtown. The data indicates that Cafe Harmony has 4 branches. This also shows that the comparison between the average sales achieved and the average sales target. Downtown had the highest average sales compared to uptown, which has the lowest. So here we have the downtown. And then according to the data, also the cafe met both the average sales achieved and the average target. Although the uptown cafe had the lowest average, but it achieved the sales. It had the highest average sales target. So we go to the next one. The next one is a feedback rating. Here it shows the feedback for customer rating. The customer gave the feedback, how they're experiencing going to the 4 restaurants or the cafe of Cafe Harmony. So the data show the performance ratings. Although the feedback was not clear, the data indicate that most customers gave the rating of 4 and the lowest was 1. We can see 190 customers gave 1, 188 gave 2, 206 gave 3, and 217 gave 4, and 199 gave a 5 rating. And here are my recommendations. As an analyst, you have to recommend after viewing the data and having a dashboard. So here my recommendation were to Cafe Harmony to introduce seasonal dishes to attract customers looking for fresh and unique flavors that reflect the time of the year. Dietary options like vegan, sugar-free, lactose tolerant to the menu to cater for growing demographic and enhance the cafe inclusivity. Offering unique beverages, pairing with food items that can enhance the dining experience and encourage customers to try new combination, also boost sales for low-selling products. Also recommended to offer loyal incentives like discounts, cards, and points to cater for different age groups like students and pensioners. Also offer incentives to locations that are performing well to motivate staff, identify reasons for underperforming location and take actions and review targets. And also there is improved staff training, conduct quarterly performance and reviews, perform and analyze customer revenue reviews to pinpoint areas of improvement, and use feedback effectively for better overall customer experience and satisfaction. Also, to implement inventory management software, use integrated inventory system to track real-time sales and monitor stock level. This will introduce guesswork and highlight the fast versus slow-moving items. Also use inclusive and multiple media marketing, as with demographic targets of age, gender, interest, language, and location to reach out to underrepresented groups. Partner with local organizations to cross-promotion and reach new customers. Thank you very much listening to me. That was my previous presentation. If you have any question, you can always ask. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. That was
Yeah,
very
you're welcome.
wonderful. From the slides to the dashboard, from beginning to the end. And what I love the most about your presentation is how you were able to align your objective at the beginning with recommendation at the end. Thank you once again for that presentation. So which part will you say was the most interesting part for you when working on this project?
The most interesting part of it is the dashboard, because when you are putting everything together, you don't realize how it will come up in a dashboard. You just see Excel data where you have the number of people, but when you put everything together, you can see how it comes into light. It's like you're building a house and finally it's standing up. And this is storytelling. The dashboard will tell you a story from the beginning to the end. So for me, that's very interesting.
Yes, okay. Thank you for that, Stella, once again.
You're
And yes,
welcome.
I understand the perspective you are coming from. You are making individual parts, but you don't know how to look together. And by the time you finish with the dashboard, you have a holistic picture. Okay, thank you for that,
Okay, thank you.
Stella, once again. Jerry, you can go ahead with your own presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Jerry, are you ready? Yes.
Let me see. Sorry, just give me a second. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can see your screen, Jerry. Please, you have 10 minutes to present so that
Oh,
yes, we'll stick to
I'm just
time.
gonna have to apologize from now. I'll probably be slightly over 10 minutes, but I'll be as fast as I can, if that's all right. So hi everyone. My name is Amadi Jerry Gospawa, and I'm a data scientist, and I'm just here to highlight some projects I've worked on. But then I'm going to take a different turn from what Stella did. Stella did an amazing job, by the way. So I'm just going to quickly run through 5 projects that I have done since joining Analytics. I'm going to start with why did I join Analytics, and then 5 projects. So the first project is going to be an MS Excel dashboard project I did. The second one will be predictive analysis using Excel. The third is going to be dashboarding with Tableau. And then I'm going to do something about SQL. We did a skin cancer analytics on SQL. And the last one is the current project we are on, which is a personal expense tracker with Python. So why did I join Analytics? I joined Analytics because they are the best. And I think I've shared this, so I'm not going to spend more time on this. They're simply the best, and that's why I joined them. So the first project I'm just going to give us a brief about it, a road accident analysis with MX Excel for Cortec Laboratory here in the UK. The Cortec lab is a lab that is involved in cutting-edge tech solutions and innovative data interventions. So the problem statements, what did they want? So high accident rates from multiple factors, weather, road conditions, speed limits, and traffic control systems heavily influence road accidents. So this is a road accident data. So they gave us a data about road accidents that has been occurring in the UK for 2 years, 2021 and 2022, and we're supposed to make sense out of it. So some of the problems they encountered was that there was also limited use of data-driven decisions. The absence of structured analysis reduces the ability of stakeholders to make proactive road safety improvement. Need for effective visualization tools and interactive dashboard is essential to simplify accident trends and support targeted safety interventions. So we came up with a dashboard to pinpoint the KPIs that were mentioned that they needed. So if you just take a brief look at my dashboard, you see that it has slicers according to years. So if you want to see the data for 2021 or 2022, you have it there in front of you. And then you also have slicers by severity. So how severe was the accident? Was it fatal? Was it mild? So you can filter by that, and then by the month of the year. So you can see the total accidents, total number of casualties, the casualties per accident, unique vehicles, and all of that. And then you can see the chart of the most affected areas by the top left corner. You can also see the top 5 vehicles involved, the kind of vehicles. So is it cars, is it motorbikes, is it vans, is it buses or ambulances? So the KPIs that I highlighted here was time impact on casualties. And just a mere look at it, you can see that 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. had the highest casualties, which we narrowed it down to this is when most people are coming back from work, so they could probably be rushing and all of those kind of things, so could have led to the accidents. And then we had weather impact on accidents. So the dry one, we linked this one to overconfidence. So since the weather is dry, most people might tend to just be kind of laissez-faire and then just do what they want to do and then have those accidents. Then severity distribution, what's the percentage of the severity of each accident? We'll also narrow it down to accidents by days of the week. And we saw that Friday had the highest number of accidents of 50,529 from our data set. And we also kind of narrowed this down to maybe people are tired from working Monday to Friday, and they're probably tired on Friday, or just maybe they're rushing to go for parties or whatever that could have caused this accident. Then speed limit impact on severity. So that 30 miles per hour was the highest speed limit. We also categorized into urban and rural areas, the junction type and the carriageway. And we also made recommendations to the stakeholders from our data set. So we asked them to install more speed cameras in 30 miles per hour zone, improve street lighting in urban hotspots, increase public awareness for wet weather driving conditions, regular road maintenance to prevent slippery conditions. I'll probably skip and go to the next project. So the next project was predictive analysis using Excel for Alpha Store. Alpha Store is a chain of retail stores here in the UK. So what was the problem? Just like Stella highlighted, understocking, overstocking, staff optimization. So when do they underutilize or overutilize staff based on the demand they're getting? So they wanted us to forecast for them so that they know how to optimize their stock and then optimize their staffing as well. So this is what we did. There are 5 ways of forecasting using Excel, and the approaches are naive approach. Naive approach is just simply the fact that yesterday's sales or yesterday's data is going to be that of today. So if you sell something for X amount yesterday, today the price is going to be the same. So that's what naive approach does. So moving average is just a sum of moving average for a period of time, maybe 3 days or 4 days moving average. The average sales for that duration. The linear forecast and simple linear regression uses the equation of a straight line for the forecasting, and the exponential smoothing uses more recent data but weighted averages for that. And in merely looking at this, we now, after forecasting, we're looking at the errors, the least error percentage. So the mean percentage error, you're looking for which one has the least. And from looking at our data, you can see that moving averages, linear forecast, and simple linear regression has 6%. So after that, you look at the next one, which is the mean squared error, which one is the least. And then if you look closely, you see that linear forecast and simple linear regression had the least. So we advised our clients to use simple linear regression or linear forecast for their analysis. So this is just a visual breakdown of the forecast that we did, and then we had the recommendations to them. We asked them to adopt linear forecasting models. So the data we gave them using the linear forecast should be the best, and then that's what you should use. We also asked them to implement data-driven inventory planning. We also asked them to align workforce schedules with demand patterns, and so on. So the next project I'm just going to highlight here is dashboarding with Tableau for freelance gig analytics USA. So freelance gig analytics, they just analyze, in the freelance economy. They just do analytics for the freelance economy so that anyone that wants to get into freelancing has an idea of what they're doing. So what's the problem? Generally with freelancers, the problem they face is difficulty in predicting earnings, understanding job success rate, identifying high demand skills, and forecasting future earnings. So we created a dashboard using Tableau for them. And I'm not going to waste too much time on this dashboard, but then it literally breaks down everything you need to know. So the first is the cards that shows you the total amount of the total earnings of the freelancers in the platform, the total jobs completed, the average hourly rate, and then by top left corner you see the top earners, how much they earned, the number of jobs they completed, then you see the earning trends, and you see this top platform by success rate. So what this just tells you is that, so if you're a content writer, for example, what platform should you be looking at? You can see the gradient from 70 to 80, and you can see that for content writing, Freelancer and Fiverr are literally your best bet if you want to go into freelancing. And then for, let's say, graphic design, you can literally see that people per hour stands out with the gradient. If you come down to digital marketing, you can see that Fiverr stands out. So this just tells you, okay, I'm into this. What platform should I be looking at? So that's what it does to you. The next, by the right of it, is earnings by job category. So what this shows is, okay, how much have people earned in each job category? And you can literally see that graphic designers has made their most amount of money, which is 1.4 million, which is followed by app development and web development, customer support as well at 1.3 million. And then you have data entry, digital marketing, and then the list is content writing and SEO. So if you go down, you just see the job success rate by platform. So hourly rate or fixed rate, which one has better performance? And then you see the percentage of the average hourly rate by experience level. So intermediate, beginner, and experience. What on average, how much did they earn per hour? And then there's a client rating across different regions. So you have the Europe, Middle East, Canada, US, UK. How the clients from these regions rate freelancers. And then the last one by the side, which might look a bit confusing if you're not too much into data. So this just shows average hourly rate by job duration. So you have your job duration on the y-axis and then the hourly rate on the x-axis. So what this tells you is that if you look at data entry, which is at your bottom left corner, it just simply means that for data entry in this our data set, the pay is quite low and then the job duration is low. So you don't want to be there where data entry and SEO is. It means you're going to get low pay and then the job duration is going to be low. If you look at content writing, which is at the far right, you can see that there's a high pay, but then low job duration. So this will depend on individual preferences. So do you just want to get high pay and then in a few days you're done with your job? And then after that, you can see the middle ground. So you have app development, graphic design, customer support, SEO. These are the middle ground. So they're just somewhere in the middle. And then at the far top right corner, you can see web development, which shows you that the pay is high and then the job lasts for long, which has an average of 55 days for job duration. We also recommended, we have made some recommendations to the freelance gigs. And I'm not going to waste so much time on this so that I'll highlight other projects as well. So the fourth project we did was skin cancer analytics for DEM AI diagnostics using SQL. So for this project, we first of all had to break down the kind of skin cancers we have. We have two types of skin cancers, one that we call benign ones, which are cancers that really do not affect you. They are just lesions on your skins that really don't metastasize. They don't spread to other parts of the body and they don't cause much damage. So they could literally just require a minor observation or a minor cosmetic treatment can cure them. So we didn't focus more on these. So we focused more on the malignant ones, which is BCC and SCC and the rest. So this was the problem statement. Misdiagnosis and limited access to dermatologists often result in late detection of skin cancer. There's insufficient understanding of how environmental factors influence skin cancer risk. Using a data set of these skin lesion cases, we aim to identify patterns across demographic lesion types and exposure levels. So I'll just show you snippets of the codes we ran with SQL and then the results we got from them. So you can see that the first one I want to highlight for you guys is the effect of patients' exposure to pesticide in relation to cancerous skin lesions. So what this shows is that if you look at the table that we have bottom right, you can see that, bottom left rather, you can see that patients that were exposed to pesticide had amounted for 97% of cancerous cancer. So the cancers that we classified as cancerous, which are kind of terrible that we have to look out for, people that were exposed to pesticide had the highest percentage, which is 97%, which is very alarming. So this just tells you that if you want to avoid skin cancer, you should just probably just stay away from pesticides. And then this table just shows summarily the environmental factors that we looked at. So exposure to pesticide, people that don't have access to pipe water, people that don't have access to sewage, the kind of cancers they had, and then the numbers. We arranged it in descending order. So that's what that tells us. And then I think this was the major part of the project where we were expected to create a machine learning ready data set so that we feed it to the machine learning or the AI model, and then it can easily detect what kind of cancer or what kind of patient it is, if the patient has high risk, low risk, or medium risk of cancer. So we brought in some factors together. We looked at age, we looked at the Fitzpatrick, which is the skin type, the region of the body, your skin cancer history, and then the kind of lesions you have. Did it grow? Did it change? Was it itchy? Is it bleeding? And then the diameter, how big is it? Is it greater than 6 millimeters? If it was, and then your age, you're over 40 years old, and you have a cancer history, you have a skin cancer history, then you're classified as high risk. And then we also classified that for medium risk. And then anybody that doesn't fall under this category was classified as low risk. And then we have the machine learning data set here. If you could look at it far right of the screen, you can see how the risk is categorized. So what patient one has low risk, medium risk, high risk. So this is what it does. So this data set will now be used to train the machine learning model so that it can easily identify a patient and classify the risk the person belongs to. We also gave some recommendations, which I'm really not going to go into that because of time. And then the last project we're going to talk about is a personal expense tracker app using Python for Smart Spend. And this is a project we are currently on for Smart Spend UK. So the problem statement, users struggle to monitor daily spending. Spreadsheets are time consuming and prone to error. Most mobile tools require internet or user accounts, making them inaccessible in under-reserved regions. Smart Spend requires a simple desktop-based tool for users to track expenses without internet access. So I'll just show you snippets of the Python codes we ran. And yeah, here for this project, we used SQL as our backend. So we created a database using SQL for our backend so that when our customers, our clients put in their data, it's stored properly with our SQL database. And then this is how our app looks like. So you can literally add your expense, categorize it, and you can also view the graph, based on your category or the date. And in conclusion, from Scan Analytics, I've developed my skills. I believe I've brought value to the organization. And I'm looking ahead. I'm excited about future opportunities and challenges that await me beyond my time at Analytics. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Jerry. That was mind-blowing. You walking us through the first to the second to the third. Everybody in the chat box was just simply amazed by how good your projects were. So, which of those 5 projects would you say is your favorite?
I mean, I loved all of them, but I think my favorite, personally, because I'm from a science background, was the DEM AI one, the one for skin lesions, that's the cancer one. So simply because learning from tech now, I'm now seeing that I'm able to actually use data from patients' lesions in the past to be able to train AI and machine learning models so that if you're presenting some kind of symptoms, it instantly tells you, okay, you have a medium risk of getting this skin cancer, you have a high risk, or you have a low risk. You don't have to be worried about that. So I think that is my best, coming from a science background and then being able to, attach, tech and data science into it, and then being able to predict illnesses fast. And as we all know, once you're able to predict illnesses fast, you have a higher chance of curing it or actually preventing it from happening in the future. So being able to do that using tech was just amazing for me. But that's my best because of my background. But then I loved all the projects I worked on.
Yes, that is the kind of answer I was expecting because it was like asking you to choose your favorite child. So, wonderful presentation, Jerry. That was spot on. And I like how you covered a lot of tools because as internal analytics, we try as much as possible to be broad in the tools that we cover. So Linda, your hand is raised. Do you have a question? Okay. Okay, I didn't get Linda. Stella, you can go ahead. Okay, Stella have presented. I think that should be Tosin. Tosin can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Just a moment. Okay, so I've spoken about my journey to Tenalytics already and will not waste more time. But so I joined Tenalytics for the business analysis program since March of this year. And so in the last 3 months, I think 2.5 of those 3 months I've spent being exposed to data analysis. And so the very first aspect of data analysis I was exposed to was the Microsoft Excel. And in the Microsoft Excel, we did in-classroom project, hands-on, and we also worked as a team to present this first dashboard that you can see, which is the Prime Tech Stores dashboard. It's a tech accessory store in the retail industry. And so that was my very first dashboard, with the team. But there's something that is being said to us in Tenalytics is to also practice as much as possible. And I thought it will be good to also showcase some of my personal projects that I've worked on too. So you see that 2 other dashboards are also included in this project, showing that you really need to invest in yourself beyond the classroom lessons and learnings that you're being taught in Tenalytics. You really have to give like 150% investment to your own personal learning. You have to look for other sources, and also learn alongside with analytics. So with that, I've been able to do more personal projects. For me, I'm going to make this presentation thinking about how much I have grown and what I have learned and how I've measured my own personal growth, having since joining analytics. So my measurable growth will be that I've gone from hundreds of rows of data to processing 1 million rows of transaction data in using Microsoft Excel. And I've also grown from, learning how to use the pivot tables to actually using Power Pivots. I think the next learning was in Power BI for us. And Power BI, I would say, was definitely an eye-opener for me personally. And I was very excited about this particular tool. And so in Analytics, we had our team task, which is this online grocery and delivery retail. The very first dashboard was the team task, and we were able to develop this looking at the different, aspects of the business itself. I will not go into so much details. While the remaining 3 dashboards that you can see have been the results of my personal investment, as we were always encouraged. We're given sites, to extract data from and to also practice. And so these remaining 3 dashboards are also things that I worked with personally and also with some of my team members in Analytics, and we went further to develop ourselves. So what's been my growth in terms of learning Power BI? So first and foremost, I was a newbie to Power BI. And so I had built up experience in ETL. ETL means extract, transform, and load. And I'm also able to do a lot of data modeling. I will tell you that my very first dashboard in Power BI was not as presentable, because I remember sharing with my facilitator, and I'm sure she screamed, but she made me feel comfortable. So I've gone from someone who builds disconnected information on dashboards to someone who actually can now build a structured and goal-driven dashboard. My dashboards, when I first started, used to be very colorful, very disconnected. I felt it was beautiful. But, working alongside the facilitator, she taught me things personally, and that helped really refine my skill in Power BI. So what else would I say that I can measure as growth? I've gone from using basic KPIs, which is like total orders, total this, and average this, to simple DAX formula, which is good enough for a business analyst. Lastly, I've done a PostgreSQL project, and the PostgreSQL project also resulted in us building a Power BI dashboard. And with SQL, while I'm not new to SQL, but this definitely did strengthen my skills in SQL. And what would I say is my overall learning from data analysis as a business analyst? I have a deeper appreciation of data analysis within the business analyst context. That would be my first overall learning. And now I'm able to think as a BA and consider the multiple use cases that, okay, when I'm in my role as a BA, where am I really going to utilize this skill? And I've thought about projects that I've done in the past. And I've also thought about, things in my future, and I've said to myself, when I'm doing discovery, stakeholder engagement, you can see all of this. When I'm doing discovery as a BA, I think I'll be able to explore the use of data analysis, to understand the different perspectives. I know that in speaking with stakeholders, I will be able to present more facts and insights to stakeholders, so that when you're relating with your stakeholders, you are actually talking using data. I'll be able to do more validations of concepts and even end product. At the end of the day, when we have this beautiful product as a business analyst, there might be certain validations that you want to do. So I know I'll be able to do that with data. I'll be able to plan projects better with data, process improvements, and definitely measuring KPIs. So those have been my own learnings and my own thoughts and my journey, learning data analysis as a business analyst. So right now we are now in the proper business analyst course. We just started that 2 weeks ago. And so far, we are learning the fundamentals of being a BA and understanding the principles. So I'm looking forward to, strengthening my BA principles, concepts, and understanding how to document better. So I'm really looking forward to, the future with Analytics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that presentation, Tosin. I love how articulate your presentation was. That was a lot of dashboards, but it showed your growth from, as you mentioned, the first time you sent your dashboard to your instructor, you said the person screamed. And now I think when the person sees this, your more recent dashboard, there'll be a large smile on his or her face. Okay, that was very wonderful, Tosin, as I mentioned. So let's go to the next presenter. Bernard, you can go ahead with your presentation. So please, Bernard, remember we said 10 minutes, so try to stay within the time so we don't keep everyone waiting.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
All
Yes, we can
right.
see your screen.
Okay, that's good. My name is Bernard, like I mentioned earlier on, and today I'm going to share with you my take on Novamet's 2023 performance. Basically, we are going to use the 2023 data to answer operational questions and then possibly find solution to these questions that we want to answer, or the problems that we find from these questions. And we are going to go through a brief business overview, and then I'll introduce you to the data that helped us to answer these operational questions, and then a brief analysis together with the key findings and the solutions that we're able to come up with, looking at the business problems, and then possible recommendations and conclusions. Yeah. So Novamed Solution is a pharmaceutical industry which provides essential medications. Novamed, looking at the 2023 figures, present a bright outlook. However, there were some pertinent issues that needed to be answered by not just looking at the data and then the insight that drawn from it. Going beyond what we were able to extract as insights, and then use that insight to be able to help us in answering questions, operational questions, some of them being the sales performance optimization, and about on inventory, managing inventory efficiently, and then identifying some key market opportunities that we can leverage our strength on, and then leverage our strength on, basically. So this is the data that we were able to gather to be able to answer these operational questions. We had data from 3 key sources. That's the sales data, the customer information, and then the drug information. So to answer these 2 operational questions, be it the sales and then the customer performance, we did a top-bottom analysis of the sales trends and then the customer performance analysis. having an understanding of where the business want to the business direction, and then using that to develop the relevant KPIs. And below, we are going to see the snapshots of the two dashboards that relates to the sales and then the customer performance analysis. So over here, looking at the direction that the business wants to, or the key questions that we wanted to answer, or the insight that we wanted to draw. 5 KPIs were used in order to be able to drive our directions to be. So we're looking at the quantity sold of these drugs, the total revenue, total cost, total profit, and then total profit margin. Looking at this, one will say Novamed is doing extremely well, but then sometimes profit is it's not enough. You can see profit, but however, a company may be cash strapped, or there are some key questions that the company needs to answer, or these profits will not see, there wouldn't be any stability or longevity to continuously getting these kind of profits. Looking at it, they are doing very well. 81%, 82% profit is mind blowing. And then this next section shows us the customer analysis from different demographics in different countries, i.e. 6 countries that Novamed operates in, being Canada, Australia, Germany, United Kingdom, France, and then the United States. So as part of our key findings, taking a closer look at the time series analysis of the total profits and then the total revenue, we could see that the total profit and then total revenue peaked in January, and then took a nosedive heading to November. And then from there was a lateral movement of the total profit and then the total revenue, showing a positive correlation as well. We realized that as a result of this lateral movement, the support was on the 4.4 million, and getting a resistance at say 6.5 million. Yeah, and the next thing that we had to take a look at was, looking at the trend line regarding the total revenue and the total sales. The positive correlation between it shows that, of course, Novamed has got good control over costs. However, are these profits really cash profit, or they are just another ways that can diverge our attentions, thinking that the company is actually doing well? So the next graph shows the top 5 drugs by revenue. And looking at the top 5 drugs by revenue, we identified that most of these drugs had relatively lower cost, with the exception of clonazepam, which diverged the most. And then the total between the difference between the total revenue and the total cost was 618K, showing a cost of that exact amount, which is unlike the other 5 top drugs. And then also, from country to country, we realized that among the age groups, the 55 plus age group was seen to be the one that drove revenue as well as profit. And then countrywide, we realized that Canada and Australia were leading the chart in driving Novamed sales growth, likewise profit. And looking at this on the business wise, or looking at the financial perspective, or going concern, this may look all right in the short term. However, as a business, you cannot depend on just one or two entities or one or two countries looking at Novamed now, because if there are any shortfalls in any of this one of two countries, then that means Novamed cease to perform and they're not seeing the light of day when it comes to getting enough, being profitable company. So these are the problems that are likely to occur as because of the current insight that were drawn from Novamed, looking at it dependent on just two countries out of the six to be able to drive growth, revenue growth, and then the profit. However, all hope was not lost since by means of preempting or identifying key business problems, these problems cannot be the one that will cause Novamed's future profitability to decline. Looking at this, realize that demand forecasting, we're having some inefficiencies. And in order to tackle these demand forecasting inefficiencies, recommended a cross-functional collaboration where regular forecast review meeting can be held with input from all departments and then involving all customer-facing team to real-time market feedback. And also, there is an important for the company's strategic goal to be able to align with sales incentives and then supply chain KPIs, not to conflict, because you cannot have the sales team trying to meet their goals by making sales, while supply chain teams are also trying to minimize their cost through lowering holding cost. The supply chain team needs to be able to talk with the sales department to be able to align their goals with the supply chain team, thereby enabling all departments to be able to meet their goals. Also, the stock management has to be looked into by conducting a regular stock audit.
Hello, okay, hello, Bernard. Okay, sorry about that. I thought your screen wasn't moving for a while now, but I think you just changed it to another screen. You can go ahead. Sorry for that.
No problem. So, given the nature of Novamed's operations, drugs are very, what do you call it? They are subject to, some of them are subject to shorter shelf life, and you cannot have drugs expiring going out to customers. So doing a regular stock audit to be able to find issues like expired stock and then using circle counting will be able to eliminate these kind of problems so that in the future you will not be having bad customer reviews, and also improving supplier relationship by way of regular communication to confirm lead time and then proactively handling stock delays and sharing forecast information for just in time. Also, customer engagement strategies, i.e., getting real-time feedback from customers and also having a prompt and empathic response to be given to the customer's queries and comments will go a long way to strengthen the customer relationship between Novameds and then the customers. And this can also help them to identify problems that they need to address in the future. So as part of the insight that were drawn, these were the recommendations and then the conclusion that we drew from it. So we found out that the 55 plus age group were mostly the ones driving sales. So focus markets on this 51 age group can be carried out in order to offer product that can be tailored to their common health concern for this demography and then hosting health education content specific to their needs. And then also we can leverage on the high performing regions to maximize return by way of diverting inventory, staffing, and then logistics to these areas. However, we must do this in a measured way so that we don't only concentrate on that, on these high performing regions and then neglecting those areas that we need to work on that we are falling short of. And then also monitoring and adapting to country-specific trends. We realized that out of the 6 countries, 4 of them were underperforming. And definitely, it appears that Novamet knows something in Canada and then also maybe in Australia that is making them perform higher, or possibly because of the age demographics in Canada and maybe Australia, because as 55%, 55 plus age range is driving the cost, it is possible to assume that Canada and then Australia, it's has an aging population, and that's why Novamet is having high chunk of its revenue and i.e. profit in those specific countries. So these similar studies could be done in these other 4 countries to know the trending issues of these other 4 countries so that we can leverage on and then provide products that will appear revealing to these other countries, and thereby helping us to drive revenue and then profit as well. So by
Okay. Can you try to round it up, like, so that we'll meet up in time?
Okay. So in as much as we are concentrating on the high performing countries, we also don't have to put blind eye on the lower performing country, and then we leverage profits, revenue and then profit. We leverage on revenue and profit correlation to be able to ensure promotional efforts are aligned with profits, positive product, and then region while validating profitability regularly. So based on the insights that were obtained from these data, coupled with the solutions that were identified for the business problems, if we are to add them together, Novamet should be in a position to be able to have a sustainable performance in the long run. That will be the end for me, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Bernard, for that presentation. So, what will you say was the best part of the presentation? That was a very amazing one.
The best part of the presentation, which cannot be seen, is the dirty work, of course, the data cleaning level and then modeling the data to be able to draw these insights to answer the business questions. Because if those things are not done correctly, none of these will be able to give us any meaningful solutions that we are looking for.
Okay. So thank you all for the wonderful presentation. This goes to show how we focus more on project-based learning in this institution. Please, can we give all of them a round of applause for the presentation? So please, if you have any question, you can type it in the chat box so that we could ask them. Jerry, someone asked if you had a technical background before joining this course, or is this your first experience?
Oh no, I had no experience in tech, none at all. I was just a scientist doing science stuff. And then I joined. So everything I've done and everything I've learned is called data analytics. No prior tech background at all.
Okay, thank you for that. I hope that answers the question there. And I think there are more questions for some of you here. So let me just go through the chat box and see if I can get the questions. Linda, you can drop your question in the chat box. So Jerry, another question to you. They said you've shown us data analytics and machine learning, and you're saying you had no prior knowledge. So the person didn't believe you, but he learned it within the program. So the program is that intense where you can learn as much as possible within the period of time the program is dedicated to. So I
Sorry,
would
please, can I
also like,
respond to that?
yes, can go ahead.
Okay, so the person said I've shown, so what we did with that project was preparing a machine learning ready data set. We did not go into machine learning. We've not gotten to that point yet. So what we did was using SQL to extract insights and analysis that can be used to train a machine learning model, which we are going to get to in the future. So I did not do anything on machine learning. I just prepared data with SQL that can train machine learning. I hope that helps the person now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for
Thank you.
okay.
If I
Elizabeth, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you so much, Ifeanyi. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everyone that has spent time listening to us. So in order not to, keep people on this call for longer than they have to be, okay, we'll just move on to what we have next for you today. Now, I mean, you have seen everything that you have presented, right? I don't need to buttress on why you need to work on projects. So now what I want to talk to you about is the career paths, that you need to focus on to break into the job market the fastest way. Before we start that, I want people to put in the chat, right? I mean, you've listened to Jerry from data science, you've listened to Stella from HR analytics, you've listened to Bernard from financial analytics, as well as Oluwatosin from business analysis. Now, I want us to, just drop in the chat, which of these career paths you are leaning towards. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a data analyst? Do you want to be a project manager? Do you want to be a financial analyst, HR analyst, and so on and so forth? So I'm looking in the chat. I want to make sure people are not asleep yet. Let's go. I can't see. Okay, I see Violet says data science. Zoom user says data engineer. Fantastic. Data analytics, financial analytics. Wonderful. So Linda, not to worry, we'll take your questions, all right? And just before we move on, please ensure that you fill the attendance form. So my colleagues have been dropping some links in the chat, right? So fill that form, put in your questions because we have quite a number of people on the call tonight. We might not be able to take every single person's question, but fill that form so you can also get the recording of this session as well as the slide that is being shared on the screen right now, all right? But just before we drop off, I'm going to try to answer your question. Violet says, I have registered and can't wait to start. Fantastic. We can't wait to have you. Now, if you have taken a look at, our website, if you have taken a look at Analytics, or if you're just hearing about Analytics for the first time, we actually offer 8 different training programs in tech, all right? We offer 8, and there's a reason why we do that. It is very strategic. So how do we know the skills that you need to learn to get a job quickly? How do we know the skills that are actually in high demand? What we do every single year, at the end of every year, is to scrape different job boards. Now, the job boards I'm talking about are job boards that we all know, LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Total Jobs, and so on and so forth. So we take a look at every single one at the end of the year and we scrape them for jobs with the highest occurring listings.
What this means is we're looking at jobs that, was posted maybe a lot of times throughout the year. For example, maybe we take a look at Indeed and we find out that in the entire 2024, for example, we had a total of about, 50,000, job listings for data analytics. Now, what that would mean is that data analytics is a skill, that is in high demand, right? So we scrape every single job board, across the different regions, whether it's the UK, whether it's in the US or in Canada. And then you're able to scrape out all of the, carry out our own internal analysis. All right, now we know all jobs that we've gotten based on different criteria. First one, ease of learning. So how easy is it for you to learn, the skills that are required for this job? It's one thing to say that it is in high demand. It's one thing to see that they're looking for, data analysts, they're looking for financial analysts, and so on and so forth. But how easy is it to actually learn this skill? Is this something you can learn in the space of 6 months? All right. So there are a lot of skills, tech paths, and for you to get into it, you need at least 18 months. You need at least 3 years, right? And for us, most of us, I'll speak for myself. I've been out of the classroom for years, and I know most of us on here as well have been out of the classroom for a very long time. So is it something that we can easily pick up on, even despite having no prior experience in tech? That's the first criterion that we look at. Now, the second criterion is ease of transitioning. Now, especially for people that are transitioning from healthcare. I'm a midwife. I'm a nurse. I don't have, any prior experience in tech. I currently work as a care worker. How can I transition into tech? Are they something that is very easy for you to move from where you are right now to point B and, start earning, 6-figure cut? And finally, the reason a lot of us are here today, because of tech money, we also look at high rewarding salaries. So we want to make sure that all of these jobs, right, actually pay well. All right. It's one thing to learn the skill, but want to make sure that at the end of the day, at the end of the month, your pocket is smiling. And after looking at all of these different, career paths, measuring them against these 3 criteria I mentioned, we arrived at 8 different programs that we offer here at Analytics. We have business analysis, we have agile project management, Scrum Master Professional, we have data analytics, we have data science, data engineering, we have cybersecurity, we have financial analytics, and finally, HR analytics. But the truth is, we didn't stop there because, a lot of times for the chefs in the house, the people that cook, when you're cooking, sometimes you call someone to ask them, oh, come and help me taste this to know if there is enough salt in it. So wanted to make sure we're not being biased, right? After carrying out all of this analysis. So what we did is we decided to seek external validation. So we went out, we said, what, let's look for someone who does not know analytics, right? And listen to what this person has to say. And when we did that, we found the World Economic Forum, right? Future of Jobs Report for 2025. Now, the World Economic Forum says one thing. It says in the next 5 years, we're currently in 2025. So it says by 2030, a lot of jobs will be created. All right, I can screen. It says by 2030, you're going to have about, 170 million jobs that will be created and 92 million jobs will disappear. Now, on the screen right there, you have the snapshot, all right? You have a snapshot of what the World Economic Forum, reports looks like. You can see 3 different categories of jobs. You see some boxes in red, you see some boxes in blue, and then you see some boxes in green. Now, the boxes in red are the jobs that will disappear in the next few years. All right. The boxes in blue are the stable jobs, and the boxes in green are the jobs that will be created, about 170 million of them. So you want to make sure that whatever you do, you're not, in the red category. All right. Now let's take a look at, the fastest growing jobs according to the World Economic Forum report. Now, remember, if you want to have access to this slide that you're seeing on your screen right now, make sure to fill the attendance form that my colleagues have been dropping in the chat. All right, you have access to the recording as well as, the slides and also all of the resources, because what I did was to also embed links to all these resources on this slide. All right, so you don't have to start looking for where you're going to find the World Economic Forum report. Everything is linked on here. So once you get the slide, you can actually go over it yourself and, just draw your own conclusions. Now, according to the World Economic Forum, right, we have a lot of jobs that, are the fastest growing jobs, the jobs that are in high demand. And amongst them, we can see data engineers, you can see data analysts and, data scientists. You can also see cybersecurity analysts. You see a lot of them, like business analysts, project managers. Now, not just your average project managers now, not the traditional project managers, but agile project management. Okay, a lot of companies right now are transitioning, making that transition from the traditional project management that we all know as waterfall into the agile project management. So even if you're a project manager right now and you're not an agile project manager, you might want to reevaluate that decision, okay? Because according to, the Future of Jobs report, it is moving right now. The world is moving, the world is evolving from traditional project management into agile project management. Now, we also have the financial analysts, we have the analysts as well. Now, there's a lot of, talent shortage in different regions. All right. If you can see on the screen, you see different countries like Egypt, Morocco, and so on and so forth. And you're able to see the slices red. Some of you, this means is that these countries are actively searching for professionals. That's what it is. They are actively searching. They don't professionals. They need analysts. They need project managers, and that's where you apply. You need to have the skill before can make that transition. West African time, before the session started, you must have heard a lot of testimonials. But again, we have a lot of them linked on this slide right now. So just make sure you fill the attendance form. All right. So you can, sit down and listen to all of these success stories. Watch them, watch these videos, watch real people like yourself speak about how they were able to transition into, tech and land their first six-figure paying job. All right, now we can spend 5 hours talking about success stories, because if there's one thing we have here at analytics, all right, we can spend 5 hours, but I'm boy, right? Just on my side, they have one common, all right? 98%, if not 99% of them made this transition with zero prior experience in tech. That's one thing I want you to take home from this session tonight, with zero prior experience in tech. Now, like when, when Jerry was presenting events before, did you do this and did you do that? You have machine learning, you have this and you have that. Now, the truth is that, 99% of the participants here at analytics are coming in, as absolute beginners. And what you saw on those ones, I mean, I can remember Jerry's just stood out for me with the five projects that, it just chose to share with us tonight. Also remember, I remember Stella's presentation as well. You saw the dashboards that were created, right? All of these were done in class. And this is because we prioritize project, read a textbook. You're not just coming here to come and say, oh, what is Tableau and what is Power BI? You're actually going to get your hands dirty. And in 3 months, you just might be like Jerry. All right. Now, I also want to make sure that you don't box yourself. Now, a lot of people, when they're searching for jobs, they make the mistake of just searching with the name of, just the name of the skill that I took a data analytics program, so I should generally just be a data analyst. Now, a lot of jobs that you can apply to, especially because these organizations these days are changing the nomenclature of, the jobs that they put out there, right? An organization could say they're looking for a business intelligence analyst, for example, or a marketing analyst. And you as a data analyst, you feel like, oh no, I took a data analyst analytics course, so that I can only work as a data analyst. Now I'm here to tell you that it is false. Okay, it is false. What you want to do when you're searching for jobs is, instead of just looking at that, broad picture and saying, I want to look for data analytics roles, look for roles based on the skills that you have. All right. Look for roles based on the skills that you have, the skills that you learned: Power BI, Python, SQL, Tableau. And then you'll be able to see a lot of jobs that you can apply to. You can actually do the work of, for example, a supply chain analyst. It doesn't have to be labeled a data analytics for you to be qualified, to work in that role as a data analyst. Now we have data science, we have data engineering, we have cybersecurity, we have business analysis, financial analytics, HR analytics, and agile project management, Scrum Master professional. So once you get the slide, what I want you to do is I want you to sit with the slide and take a look at all of these resources that are linked on the slide so that you can understand better. So moving on to the next slide. Now, what are the next steps that you want to take? Now, this is second half of the year, okay? We've done the first 6 months of the year. Now, this is the time to, if you want to at least get into tech by December, you want to get your 6 figures by December, you want to start earning monthly by December, these are the next steps. These are the steps that you need to take to thrive in 2025 and beyond, 2026, 2027. Right? So now I've talked about all of these courses that we offer here at Analytics, but now I'm going to do a deep dive and we're going to start with business analysis. Sin was presenting, and you could see that even though she was a business analyst, she was, a lot of her presentations were centered on, okay, I think my screen just went off. Let me share that again. A lot of her presentations were centered on, right? She showed us a lot of dashboards and talked about how, our first dashboard, what our first dashboard looked like, right? And how she has been able to grow and make that growth since that time. Now, business analyst, you're not just learning, core business when it comes to, for example, requirements, fundamentals, and how an elicit requirement your stakeholders. You're actually going to learn data tools as well. So you're learning how to use Excel. You're going to be learning how you can use SQL. You're going to be learning how you can use Power BI. And the beauty thing about all of this is you're going from scratch, because again, we cater to people 0 or no prior in tech. All right, so you don't have to be worried, you have to be scared about it. Never worked with Excel, or all we need you to do is turn your laptop. You can turn your laptop and you can join a meeting with at Tenalit. Now, who is business analyst in organization and what do they do? A business analyst is someone who comes into an organization to optimize their processes. Now, what this means is you're going into an organization in whatever industry, it's healthcare, whether it's finance, you're going into that organization, look at the currently working organization, what the process is like, and how can you make it better. So I'm not going to use a very, technical example, just use some very simple. So say you run a business, and, as fate have it, business is great, right? You'll get a lot of customers. Now, customers place an order on your, trying to buy bags or dresses with, there's a site online where you have your phone number, right? Or you just have your phone number on your WhatsApp status. The place calls you, right? And say, hi, I'd like to buy red dress. And then whoever's on the receiving end for your customer service person, the person you hired to take up that responsibility, jots down what this person wants. So the person asks them questions over the phone. So what's your name? What's your delivery address? How many dresses do you want? What's your size? In what color? Right? And the person just down money. And after that, we go to the one that, you know, we actually have dress in particular size stock, right? Next day. And after going to the house, you find the dress, and then you have to call, you know, the logistics service, you come up, deliver to this person. All of this is fairly fees. And, you know, as business is growing, there is a tendency that, you know, you start to make, or your customer service person to make, you know, when taking down these orders. Now, a business analyst walks this business, you know, and says, hey, you know, Linda, I can see your business right now, and I see that your process does not work. How can we make it better? And then, you know, the business analyst says, how about we build a website? Right. And on this website, I'm sure a lot of us on here, Little Thing, Temu, and the rest of them. Now we say, how about we use a website? There's an image, you know, of this dress on the website. The available sizes are there, and then, you know, we're inventory on the site. What this means is, for all of us that shop online, I'm a chronic shopaholic, all right? So you see, sometimes you see, oh, 20 items left, 50 items left. And once you know, make a purchase, that number immediately goes down to 49 items left. So it's not like someone is manually going to the warehouse to go and check if this dress is available. We just have to update the inventory. So when we buy the dresses, we put it on the website that we have 50. And as people place orders, the numbers keep going down. Now, this way, it has been able to, you know, cut a lot of things. And once someone places an order, you get an automatic, maybe email notification with the details. Now, the person's address, the person's name, what the person placed an order for. And all you have to do is pack this and ship it as quick as that. So instead of taking 3 days, it takes 1 day. Now, this in a nutshell is just how a business analyst helps businesses, or helps organizations or companies in whatever context, you know, just optimize their processes, make their processes better, not just for the business, but also for the users, the customers of that business. All right. And what it is you're going to be learning, we start off with, you know, look at process mapping, because this is right. So for you to change a process, you have to know that process and be able to map out that process. Sort of like you're sitting down and you're sketching out the process on a piece of paper. But because we're technical people here, we don't use paper. So you'll be learning how to, you know, do your process mapping with tools like Lucychart and Draw.io. All right. And now, similarly to, you know, what Oluwatosin was presenting earlier, you're going to be learning how to use the data tools. So you see those beautiful dashboards she presented, you are also going to learn how to build them. You're going to learn how to use Excel, you know, going from your pivot charts to your pivot table to your Power Pivot. You're going to learn all of these buildings. You're going to learn how you can use Excel to clean and analyze data. You're going to learn how you can use Excel to build dashboards and be like Oluwatosin. All right. And then we didn't stop there. So we also went into Agile Project Management, the Agile Project Management program, and we borrowed some courses from them. All right. So you see number 3 and 4, project initiation planning, and Agile and Scrum for projects. All right. Now, the reason for this is because, you know, a lot of times in an organization, when you propose a new process, it's most likely going to be a project, right? I was using an analogy earlier and I mentioned the website. That website that the business analyst said, you know what, Linda, let's build a website for your business. That is a project. And in cases where there is no manager on ground, you know, take over that, might look at you and say, well, it's your idea. We're going to be teaching you an initiative, how you can plan project, agile, and how you can use the Scrum framework in whatever project is you're working on in your organization. And then we move on to your core business analysis courses, all right, your software development lifecycle, which is just to teach you a little bit of technicality so that, you know, when you are also speaking to technical people, you're speaking to developers, for example, you know, what they are saying doesn't sound like Latin to you. You understand dev speak. So we'll move on to requirements, fundamentals, elicitation, how you can elicit requirements from different stakeholders, then stakeholder analysis and engagement, analyzing your various stakeholders and how you can engage them, and finally ChatGPT for business analysis. So the beautiful thing about 10 analytic programs is that here you're not racing against AI, right? You're making AI work for you. You're making AI your employee. How can you leverage AI? How can you use AI to your advantage? Instead of being scared of AI coming to take your job, how can you make AI work for you, and you get paid. All right. So we teach you all of that. We teach you how you can leverage AI to your advantage as a business analyst, as a data analyst, as a Scrum Master, and all of that good stuff. All right. So now moving on. Okay. So my screen seems to be frozen. So let me know when you can see my screen again. All right, fantastic. I think I'm down. Great. So just make sure we have people listening to me in the chat. If you're still listening to me, please drop an emoji or a number or a letter, anything. All right, just drop something in the chat so I know that I still have people listening to me right now. All right, thank you for that, Dorcas. I see Austin. Fantastic, Austin. Thank you so much, Violet. All right. I see you, Sethlin. Okay, great. Now, I'm going to explain the learning timeline for all of our courses, and this cuts across all the programs, okay? So all the programs here at Analytics, the learning timeline is 8 months. So you're going to have 6 months learning in class and then 2 months of internship with our partner company. All right, so 6 months in class and 2 months of internship. And we have a hybrid learning structure. Now, what that means is you have a blend of live classes and then, self-paced videos. So upon registration for any program, you are immediately added to our learning management system, the LMS, where you have, pre-recorded videos from, professionals, a lot of case studies that you can watch, you can try to replicate, a lot of projects that you can work on. Now, aside that, you have live classes 2 Saturdays out of 4 Saturdays in a month. All right, so the reason for this is I understand a lot of us here are working. So we try to make it as flexible as possible. So instead of having classes every single weekend, which is not really sustainable, especially for people that are already in the workforce, we make sure to space the classes. So live classes such as this one, you come to class, you have your facilitator, someone like myself sharing the screen and how you can work on this project. And you have in sessions as well. But before we go to the drop-in, every single live session here at Analytics is always recorded. All right, whatever program it is that you're going for, every single live session is always recorded. So if anything you session, be it a live class, optimization session, so that you have the recording to watch back. Now, for the live classes, we have 2 different timing, just accommodate people from different parts of the world. All right, the morning, which is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. And we have the evening class, which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. All right, you're allocated anyone that suits calendar, but the catch is you can pick one. Meaning, if you start with the morning class, you have to continue with the morning class to the end of your program. And if you start with the evening class, you continue with the evening class till your program. Now, aside live classes, you have 4 live sessions. You have 2 live happen every week that we call the drop-in session. Sessions are live sessions, not actual classes. Now they are more to come and discuss, more about the videos that have been asked questions around them. You can come to the drop-in session. You can even share your screen, to ask questions. Oh, I was trying to work on Power BI. I was trying to do this with SQL. And I see hitting them, and then the data pro idea you. So remember, every single live session always recorded, just like this one. All right. So now let's move on to the next program. Just give me a minute. All right. So the next program is Agile Project Management. All right. So I saw a couple of people in the chats that are also looking to get into agile project management as well. I'm a project manager. Okay. So, a project manager really is sort of like a facilitator or a coach for teams. That's what we do. So for the people in the house here that watch football, you know how you have your coach on the sidelines, telling the team, formation 3-3 and whatever. I don't watch football. I'm sorry, but you have that coach on the sidelines guiding the team. The coach would have had a meeting with the players before they go on the field to just get the motivation up, get the morale up, and then they go into the field and the coach is just on the sidelines guiding the entire thing. So that's what we do as agile project managers, all right, where we are the facilitator or the coach, for the team that are working these. So what that means is you're not going to be the person writing the code. All right, you're not going to be the person designing the screens, but you'll be in charge of the people doing these tasks. Now, you want to make sure within scope and also on budget, and that they are following the agile methodologies. Now, what do you need to know to become an agile project manager today, right, in 2025? We start off with introduction to project management skills and methodologies, right? So what are the different project management methodologies, like your waterfall, which is the traditional project management I mentioned earlier, your agile methodology, and then your hybrid methodology? And it's not just, it goes beyond knowing these methodologies. How can you identify the best one for any project? All right, how can you look at this project and say, you know what, this project, I think the agile methodology would be the best. For this project, I think we should use the hybrid approach. You're going to be learning all of this. And then we move on to, the project management structure. So when we talk about the structure, we're talking about the life cycle of a project. So going from your initiation phase to your planning phase, to your execution phase, to the monitoring and control phase, and finally the project closure phase. What are all of the activities, all of the documents that you need to prepare in each of these phases? And how can you move your project from, ground zero up until, 100 to having a successful project? Then we look at the skills that you need to have to be, an effective agile project manager. How can you tailor your communication to fit your different audiences? What are the type of communication channels that you open with your different stakeholders? The foundations of Agile and Scrum. Get to understand Agile. What exactly is Agile, right? What methodologies are different on that Agile? And then we do a deep dive into the two most popular frameworks, which is, the Scrum framework and also the Kanban framework. So you understand both of these frameworks end to end. What does Scrum mean? All right. What does the Scrum framework mean? What is the Scrum artifact all about? I'm talking about your increments, your sprints, your product backlog, your sprints backlog, and so on and so forth. And then we move on to advanced and agile practices. Here is where we talk about your, writing agile users, or being able to translate business requirements, maybe requirements I've gotten from business analysts, right? Analysts would build a website. That person has, business document and has over to you as the project manager. So how do you then break that down? That document, how do you break it down and translate it to the developers that are to build the website? That is where the agile stories come in. And then we go into use of Jira and in project. All right, so Jira, both task management tools, we're going to be learning to end, and also how you can use Confluence for your project documentation. We also take a look at Kanban boards for workflow management, then the agile and reporting. So when it comes to building a report as a project manager, what are some of the metrics that you can use to build your report? All right, we might not be building dashboards over here. We might not have dashboards, right? And we have metrics that we look out for. Your metrics like your velocity, your metrics like your burn up chart, your burn down chart, your lead time, your cycle time, how you can track all of these metrics and how you know what these metrics say. You're drawing insights from these metrics. So you're able to tell if your project is on track. You're able to tell if you are behind schedule or if you are ahead of schedule in your project. Next, we move on to real world application. So everything I've been saying so far, right? And I talked about, business analysis. Like I mentioned earlier, here at Analytics, we prioritize a project-based learning. So all these things that I mentioned, you're actually going to be learning them using projects. Ask Jerry, ask Oluwatosin, ask Stella, ask Bert, all right? You have a lot of projects that you're going to be working on to understand exactly what all of these things entail. And if you're also someone that, later you're looking to also take a professional print to your PMP, CAPM, and so on and so forth, this program would actually also help to prepare you, for that examination. All right, so the learning timeline is the same, the learning structure is the same as well. I hope, I've been able to convince some over to project management. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Some people in the chat want to be data engineers. All right, so, as data engineers, you're responsible for, designing, you're responsible for constructing, and you're also responsible for maintaining the infrastructure that will allow for the storage retrieval in your houses, right? I believe a lot of us in this place, we live in houses, correct? You know how plumbers come into your house and connect pipelines, from the storage tank and, from the borehole where the water is being gotten in the first place. It's filtered in storage tank. Then, pipelines connected everywhere. You're going to the bathroom, you turn on the shower, you have running water. You go to the kitchen, you turn on the tap, you have running water. Now, that is what a data engineer does. So data engineer from the storage tank to make sure that when a data scientist or a data analyst needs data, they have access to it. That's your job as the data engineer. And the data engineering path is the most technical of the three data specialists, right? We have data engineer, data science, and data analytics. So I like to call them the data brothers. Okay, so the data engineer is the eldest brother. That's the the big boy, the strongest son in the family. Highly technical, very coding heavy. And what you'll be learning, again, introduction to data engineering. So like I said, everything is beginner friendly. So introduction to data engineering, you'll be learning structured query language, which is the language of the database. All right, you'll be learning Python programming. Like I said, this is very coding. You're learning Linux, you learn how to do custom ETL pipeline. Someone was speaking earlier, mentioned how he, builds ETL pipeline. Actually, going that you can extract data, transform the data, and then load it into maybe another database. Think of the plumber analysis. The data automation tools as well. The tools that data engineers use for data automation. So you have Apache Spark, you have Apache Airflow. Now you also be learning cloud engineering, your GCP, that's Google Cloud Platform, your Azure, and also Amazon Web So I had okay. So let's have, let's see. So if you're here and you can hear the sound of my voice once again, that let's just give me, let's see. Hi, Gideon. You know, you're still listening to me. All right, Gideon, thank you so much. Thank you, Violet, as well. Okay, so I am experiencing some technical issues, but I'm going to make sure we get this done. All right, great. So, you know, I was talking about the data engineer earlier, right? We talked about, you know, learning, you know, how to use Google Cloud Platform, that's your GCP, you know, learning Azure and also AWS, Amazon Web Services. All right, and then we move on to version control, GitHub, and also ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. Again, learning how you can make ChatGPT your employee. All right, so the learning timeline and also the structure of, let's take a look at the data analyst. Now, this is the youngest brother. This is the one that is, you know, the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to the data specialist. Absolutely anybody can be a data analyst, all right? It's not technical in any way. It doesn't require you to have technical knowledge or coding skills. Now, as a data analyst, you answer 2 questions for any organization, all right? What happened and why did this happen? Now, them to make sense. Let's use a little story to also explain this. So say we have, you know, we have an organization that, you know, Settling is currently working at. And, you know, this organization, they found out that they made about $1 million in revenue last year, 2024. And, you know, let's just pretend that right now, this is December 2024, and this company is trying to close out their you know, their bank for the year. So Dorcas, we can get some feedback from your end. So please just mute your mic, okay? All right. So now we take a look at, you know, the data analysts and how they help, you know, organizations make data-driven decisions. So we've already established that Settling is a data analyst and, you know, our organization made $1 million in revenue 2024. Now they have some key questions because they're also trying to strategize. They're trying to see how they can double this money or triple this money in 2025. So they want to understand exactly what happened, you know, where this money came from and why it happened, you know, the way it happened. So they come to Settling and they say, Settling, we want to know what happened. How did we get this money? Now, Settling carries out the first type of analysis, which is what we call the descriptive analysis, to find out what happened. Because if you remember, I said 2 questions. All right, what happened and why it happened, using your descriptive analysis and then your diagnostic analysis. So Settling carries out the first analysis, descriptive, and then she's able to break down this revenue according to the region that it came from. So for example, $500,000 from the UK market, right? $200,000 from the US market, $100,000 from the Canadian market, and so on and so forth. Now she has been able to break it down. She knows exactly what happened, but this report is enough for them, you know, make a strategic decision on how they can money. Now, if you tell an organization, they're going to say, oh, we're Settling. You know, how come? How did this happen? Why did it happen this way? You know, how come we made $500,000 from the UK market and we only made $100,000 from the Canadian diagnostic analysis. And once she does that, she means is the fact that we made $500,000 from the UK market, right, was actually because 50% of our marketing budget for running adverts, for billboards, radio jingles, and so on and so forth, we actually directed that huge percentile of the entire budget to that region. That, for example, where we only made $100,000 is because we only directed about 10% or even less than 10% of our marketing budget to that region. Now, once she presents this report to the leadership of our organization, they say, okay, fantastic, Stephanie. So what you're trying to tell us right now is that, if we're also looking to make $500,000 from the Canadian market in 2025, what we need to do is increase the marketing budget for that region. That is how a data analyst works. 2 questions: what happened and why it happened. Now, what are the things you need to learn to become, a professional data analyst? We start off with problem solving. Even in our lives, in our day-to-day lives, we all encounter problems here and there. So how are you able to identify problems that your organization is currently facing, and then solve that problem for them, 5 whys, and so on and so forth. So we're going to be teaching you all these different techniques that you can use to identify and solve problems. And then we move on to Excel, right? Similarly to what I explained when I was talking about the business analyst. You learn Excel from scratch. You're learning your rows and your columns, your formulas and your functions, right? Your pivots and so on and so forth, right? You learn how to build beautiful dashboards using Excel. So you don't have to be asking people, are you sure you built this dashboard using Excel? You actually learn how to do it yourself. We move on to SQL, which we already know to be the language of the database, how you communicate with the database to get the insights that you need. And we move on to Power BI and Tableau for your data boards that were shown. You can also use Power BI and Tableau to, build them and make them look very beautiful, especially when you're preparing a report to show to stakeholders in the organization. And then we go into data storytelling. So I remember, I think that was Stella, just explaining the different aspects, the slicers that she used on her dashboard and how they told a story. And that's the beautiful thing about data. Data will always tell a story, but you need to be able to know how to craft it right? So that it tells a compelling story and it tells an accurate story. So you use a bar chart where you're supposed to use a bar chart. You use slicers where you're supposed to use slicers, and so on and so forth. Just to make sure that wherever gets that report, and when you're presenting that report, they also understand the story you're trying to tell. They also understand the message that you're trying to pass across with your reports. That is the power of storytelling. And then ChatGPT for analytics, and finally, Microsoft Fabric for analytics. So the role of a data analyst is very simple and is the easiest one to get into if you're looking at data-centric roles. Now let's move on to the next one. So the next one we have is data science. Now, I said the data scientist was the middle brother, and this is because I like to say the data scientist is older than the data analyst, right? You can do, as a data scientist, do more. All right, so the data analyst answers 2 questions: what happened and why it happened. But the data scientist can answer and what will happen in the future. So I'm able to tell you, oh, this is what happened. This is why it happened. And I've been there 2 years. Year, this is what will happen. Break in transmission. Let's continue. So now if you're running, if you're running from If you're running from coding, you might want to stay clear of, of data science. All right. Now we move on to financial analytics. So I'm going to be very straight to the point at this point. Okay. I'm going to go straight to the point. Who is a financial analyst and what do they do? A financial analyst is just a data analyst who has now decided to niche down into analyzing data. All right. So yes, you're going to be learning like the data analyst. You have solving, you have Excel, all those data tools. But then we take it a step further and you start to learn accounting fundamentals. So for my people on this call that have that finance background or economics, or accounting, you're going to your balance sheets and so on and so forth. Right? You can build financial models, how you can carry out financial analysis. So if an organization asks you, for example, hi, we're trying to know how much we're going to make next year, or, based on what we're currently doing now, we're trying to launch this product and want to know our financial projections. You're able to build financial models for that organization. And then we move on to valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and finally, ChatGPT for analytics as well. So just remember that as a financial analyst, you're able to either work as a data analyst, in some roles as a data analyst, or stick to, the financial aspect. So like your treasury analyst, your investment analyst, and so on and so forth. All right. So once again, do not forget to fill the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat. Now, next up, we have HR analytics. So, I mean, just from the name, I think you already know what this signifies. We have HR in their human resources. So this is more targeted at, HR managers who are looking to now add tech to what they already do. Okay. So an HR analyst is also a data analyst, right? Who has now niched down into analyzing people data. We had Stella, present a presentation, and she did a data analysis presentation. And people were, oh, is this for HR? That's because you're actually going to be learning, the tools of a data analyst. You're actually going to be working with the data analyst to understand Power BI, to understand Excel, to understand SQL, before we now move into HR analytics and performance evaluation, or, employees in the organization, based on their performance, maybe quarterly performance or yearly performance, and so on and so forth. And then we go into HR metrics and life cycle. Right, you're learning, you're understanding the life cycle of the employees of that organization. We go into collaboration and report automation, building your case and creating action. And of course, HR is not left out as well. You'll also be learning how you can make ChatGPT work for you. Right? Last but not the least, cybersecurity. So for the people on here trying to cybersecurity, you already know cybersecurity, similar to what the name is hard, but for the digital world. So now you're guarding networks of organizations, guarding sensitive of organizations, and play a crucial role, a very important role in protecting the organization's computer systems and also from cyber threats or hackers, people that are trying to hack in that. So in the cybersecurity space, we have three teams, right? We have what we call the red team, we have what we call the blue team, we also have what we call the purple team. Now, the red team are the offenders, right? These are the hackers. But in this case, they are the ethical hackers, right? They are the people that simulate a cyber network to know computer system is strong. So thing in a product, and it's something that takes sense of a lot of people, is to contain sense information. I just want to make sure that hackers cannot get into this product. Hackers cannot get into this website. So what does Settling do? Settling reaches out to someone, maybe a penetration tester. And a penetration and vulnerability tester is in the red team. Okay. And she says, hi, I just built this wonderful website, but I want to make sure that it is secure before I take it to the market. I want to make sure that hackers will not be able to get into it. So I want you to try to hack into its abilities that you can pick up on. So a penetration tester would, ideally, try to hack into, simulate an attack on this system to try to tell something, you know what, your website is not strong enough. I was able to hack in. So these are the things that you need to fix on that website before you take it to the market. So that's an example of the people in the red team. Now, when we talk about the people in the blue team, these are, the defenders, right? So the red team are the attackers or the offenders. The blue team, consists of the defenders. These are the people that are manning the system 24/7, just to make sure that, if any hacker is trying to get in, they are protecting the system from that hacker. All right. And in the blue team, you have the people called SOC analysts and so on and so forth. And then finally, we have the purple team, which is where we specialize in here at Analytics. All right. The purple team is a combination of the blue and the red team. People who have understanding of both teams. All right. So after your training with analytics, you can then decide to say, oh, you know what? I want to niche down into joining the red team or joining the blue team. We make sure you have ample knowledge of both teams. Now, we start off with overview of cybersecurity roles and technologies. And then we move on to information security, risk management, and security, your threats and your vulnerabilities. How can you keep a network secure? How can you identify threats? And how can you identify vulnerabilities in your organization's system or network? Next, we have SOC roles and responsibilities, like your log analysis and NTM. We move on to threat detection and response, incident response and threat intelligence lifecycle, and so much more. Okay, just some of the tools you'll be learning as a cybersecurity analyst is your Wireshark, your VMware, your Splunk, WebCheck, Zap, Kali, Microsoft Defender, Who.ease, and so on and so forth. And of course, the learning timeline remains the same. All right. Now, you see, I talked about the learning timeline earlier, and I said you're going to be learning 6 months with us, and then you have 2 months with our partner company, Amdari, which is a consulting company registered in the UK. All right, so you have the opportunity after your training to add Analytics and Amdari on your CV as a company that you consulted with. So now you're not putting Analytics out there as a company that you trained with, but rather saying, I worked with Analytics for a year, and these are the projects that I was able to work on while I was consulting for them. This also helps to strategically place you as someone who has experience in that field for when you are applying to jobs. Now, is it enough to just know how to use Bob Suite? Is it enough to just know Python programming and so on and so forth? The answer is no. All right, you need your employability skills to also get you an offer. How are you able to stand out? Oh, I know a friend of mine or a cousin of mine that knows how to use Trello or that knows how to use Jira, but this person doesn't have a job, right? Now I'm going to tell you what would differentiate you from a room full of other, data scientists or data analysts or business analysts, right? And that is your employability skills. So outside of, all the technical skills you're going to be learning in class, you're also going to learn employability skills to help you stand out in the job market. And what are these employability skills? We're going to start off with CV review and revamp. So teaching you how you can revamp your CV. All right. And also helping you to revamp your CV just to make sure that you can scale past the ATS, the applicant tracking system, which is what these recruiters are using, to screen CVs these days. So you're going to learn how to tailor your CV to match any job you're trying to apply for. And then we move on to LinkedIn optimization. So you being able to, post yourself on LinkedIn, position yourself on LinkedIn so that in as much as you're searching for jobs to apply to, recruiters are also reaching out to you on LinkedIn, to say, hey, would like to have a conversation with you. So how can you make your LinkedIn stand out? How can you make sure that anybody that goes to your LinkedIn profile likes what they see enough to try to start off a conversation with you? And next, we go into navigating the job market. And this is where we bring our founder, Adeiza Suleiman. We bring, people in the space that can come back and just give you that mentorship and give you tips. We bring people that have taken the 10 analytics program and have gone on to secure jobs. All right, real people. They'll come back to the classroom and say, these are the things that I did that helped me to secure a job 3 months into the program. These are the things that I did that helped me secure a job 5 months into the program. So you can also learn from what they have done. So you see people that have actually walked the walk and talked the talk, right? And then you can learn from them. And then we move on to interview preparatory sessions. So once you get an interview from any organization, you can book a one-on-one interview preparatory session, with us here at Sllides Analytics. So what is going to happen is you have a professional, prep you for that interview, conduct a mock interview for you, tell you the kind of questions that you should expect to see, right? Tell you the kind of questions or the kind of answers that you should prepare, the way you should answer certain questions if you're asked. All of this is just to boost, your confidence before you go into the main interview, right, with that organization. Next is the job reference letter. So of course, here at 10 Analytics, we're 100%, available to provide you with a reference or a recommendation letter if your company asks for one. So once you're asked to, give a reference so they can check your integrity, feel free to put down 10 Analytics, feel free to put down Amdari, and we'll provide a reference letter for you to secure that job. Now, the sixth service is on the job support. Now, this is not very popular because a lot of our participants, after spending 8 months with us, they don't need anymore. But just in case you do, you get a job and the very first month on the job, you don't really know how to go about certain tasks. Now you can come back to us and have a one-on-one session where we guide you on how you can carry out that task on your job. Next is weekly mentorship sessions. Like the name implies, these are mentorship sessions that happen every week just to make sure that, you're on the right path. You understand exactly what the job market is going to look like, and you have mentors to hold your hand every step of the way. And finally, last but not the least, we have the Upwork optimization session for people who are looking to freelance, okay? For freelancers who don't want to just use LinkedIn, you want to use Upwork so that you can get contract roles and, freelancing gigs. We have the Upwork optimization session for you as well. All right. So you want to make sure you are registering for a program here at 10 Analytics, because even out of beautiful things that I mentioned, you also have this free access, right, to a tracker where we put in a lot of visas from jobs. If that's something for you, have this on your Google Classroom for whatever program it is that you go for, and every single week is updated that you can apply. So in as much as out there, also bringing you different platforms that you would register for, maybe $50 a month. We paid for it, so you don't have to pay. And we make all of these platforms and give you the links to apply to these jobs. All right. So if you like everything that I've been saying so far, make sure to join the next cohort that is starting of July. All right, start on the 5th of July. And what I just want to do is secure your spot. So all our programs to cybersecurity, every single program is priced at $900. However, for the first 20 people to register for each program, instead of $900, you get to pay $750. And what's more, you can actually split your payment for as many as 5. So there is actually a payment plan. You don't have to pay everything at once. All right, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like. Let's go over to the 10 Analytics Enrollment Center. So just remember that, all of these good things that I've been talking about, they're all linked on, the slides. So just make sure that you are filling the attendance form that my colleagues have put in the chat so that you can have access to all of this, links and resources on my slide. All right, we're pulling up 10 Analytics Enrollment Center, and this is what it looks like. So get to there if you're trying to secure your spot next starting in July. All you want to do is you want to identify the program you'd like for. We have agile project management, we have business analysis, and so on and so forth. So just pick the one you want to go for. If you want to go for data analytics, or if you want to go for agile project management, you can just click on that. You click on register for agile project management and Scrum Master Professional and wait for it to bring up the payments plan. All right. Now you're able to pay in any currency of choice. So in a sense, the program is priced in USD. You're able to pay in your local currency. So whether that is Naira, whether that is pounds, whether that is, CFAs or CDs and so on and so forth, you are able to pay because there is a currency selector right here on, this screen where you have your payments plan. Just give that a few minutes to come up. We'll wait for that. You can see the different currencies available here. Whether it's pay pounds, pay in USD, you'll be able to see the program in currency. All right, so this is what it looks like. Okay, and you're able to choose a payment plan that speaks to you. So whether you want to pay once, you want to pay 2 times, you want to pay 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times, you're able to make that payment. Or remember, like I said, the discount is available for the first 20 people to register for each program. You can see right here on my screen, the highlighted section, it says 10 seats available. What that means, 10 people have already made payments for the Agile Project Management Program, and they have secured their spot using the discounted price. We only have 10 seats left. Now, if we get 10 more people to make payments, the program immediately goes back to $900 instead of $750. So if you're trying to utilize that discount, whether you want to start in July, you want to start in August, or you want to start in September, make sure to try to secure your spot as soon as possible. You can secure your spot with as low as 123 pounds, $150 or 255,000 Naira if you're joining this call from Nigeria. All right, so I'm just going to take a look at the chat right now. I see a lot of questions. Let's just see. Make sure to fill the attendance form, all right, so that you can also speak to a professional. All right, so if you want to have a one-on-one session with a professional, if you have more questions that you like to ask, just make sure to fill the form that my colleague is sharing. Secure your spot first, and then ask your questions and say, you know what, I tried to secure my spot because of the discount. I didn't want to miss the discount, but I don't know the best one for me. I don't know if I should go for business analysis or data analytics. I need your guidance. And then you can have a discussion with a professional on the team. But just make sure to secure your spot and make sure to fill the attendance form. All right. So if you also fill the attendance form, you have access to all the the slides that I shared earlier and all the beautiful resources on here. So you can go through them, on your own, make sure that you get acquainted. So I look forward to seeing a lot of you in class in July, August, or September. Again, remember that the discount is slot-based, available for the first 20 people to register. So I see Achibong's question, why doesn't the discount show on the payment platform? So I'm going to show you Achibong, pardon. So we already have the discounts here, like I said, for the first 20 people. So let's it in USD. Let's to convert to USD right now, and we see what that looks like just before we drop off from this session. So you can see the pricing here. It says 700 USD, and then you can break down your payments. All right, so it is already embedded. The discount is already embedded on the platform. It just converts the equivalent to your local currency, whether you're paying in pounds, you're paying in euros, you're paying in Naira, or whatever currency it is you're paying in. But what happens is after these 10 seats are filled, instead of $700 here, you're going to be seeing $900. That's just what happens. And this is an example of an automation, okay? We don't have to do anything. The system just does the entire thing for you. So thank you so much for listening to me tonight. Make sure to fill the attendance form, and of course, try to secure your spot as soon as possible for the next cohort starting on the 5th of July. All right? So I look forward to seeing each and every one of you, in class come July. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.